You're very welcome back now. Whether you regard it as a massive honour or a huge headache, cooking the turkey for the family is one of the biggest jobs you can get landed with at Christmas time.
Not only does it need to taste great, but you also need to make sure you're not going to put your nearest and dearest in the nearest hospital, which is why Aileen McGloin of Safe Food is here with this mouth-watering display in front of us this morning. Good morning, Aileen.
Good morning.
You know what? You made a very good point there as we were chatting before we came on. You were saying that around 1 million turkeys will be cooked in Ireland over the Christmas, but not normally by people who cook. They'll just have a go at it for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
And that brings in your inherent risks.
That's the danger.
Yeah. So, I mean, most of us only cook the turkey once a year, even if you're a very seasoned cook.
Yeah.
It can be kind of a new experience every time. And then there'll be every year there'll be newbies who've never done it before.
Yes.
It's a very big bird. It's poultry, so there's it carries bacteria more than other meats. So
it's high risk.
High risk food. Yeah. And a lot of things to remember, lots of side dishes going on at the same time. So it's just
which means you can take your eye off the ball.
Exactly.
So are there rules of thumb in terms of the turkey then when it comes to cooking it?
Absolutely. I mean, even if we started around now, people will be ordering their turkeys now. The main thing, if you've ordered your turkey, is just not to pick it up until about 2 days. This is for fresh turkey now, till about 2 days, within the 2 days of cooking it. That's just to make sure that it's fresh and in the fridge. And at the moment, you need to be thinking about what's in my fridge. Is there anything out of date? Start clearing out. Wash it down, make space, wash it down with warm soapy water, because you need to be able to put it in a container in the bottom of your fridge.
Yeah.
And again, that's so that drips from the turkey don't fall on other ready-to-eat food, so you're not contaminating anything else. Okay. So that's very important.
If it doesn't fit in there, Aileen, where could it go?
It really has to go
in the fridge. It has to be in the fridge?
Yeah,
okay.
So don't order a turkey bigger. There's, again, just to try and assess the space that you have. Try to order one that will fit in your fridge. Now, sometimes people will cut off the legs if they find that they really need to.
And your butcher will do that for you.
And your butcher will do that
if you need the space.
Exactly.
And then in terms of the day itself and cooking it,
yes.
Rules of thumb.
Rules of thumb. So when you're preparing, handle it as little as possible. If you do handle it, you need to wash your hands really thoroughly. And then people used to do this. I don't think they do it so much anymore, but people used to wash the turkey. So do not wash the turkey. Yeah. The only thing you achieve there is that you splash bacteria around your sink area. You could have clean utensils on a rack drying. You know, it just could be an absolute disaster in terms of spreading.
There's no need to wash the turkey.
No need to wash the turkey. If you cook it thoroughly, all the bacteria will be killed and it'll be safe to eat.
Okay.
So for cooking, you know it's cooked properly if the juices run clear and there's no red meat and it's piping hot. Especially you should check the stuffing. If you've stuffed it in the cavity, you just need to check is there steam coming off that as well, because that, you know, being in the centre might be the last.
Now you're talking about overstuffing.
Yeah, some people, most of the chefs, if you're watching any of the Christmas food channels at the moment, you're watching all these chefs who are doing their Christmas meals. They'll tell you not to stuff the turkey in terms of not to fill it. Yes. Not to wedge it full of stuffing, because what you're doing there is you're stopping the air getting through. So A, the stuffing won't be cooked, and B, the bird won't be cooked itself. So they kind of say a rule of thumb is, you know, a couple of inches, a layer of stuffing along the bottom of the turkey. Don't stuff it completely.
That's a really good point. And another rule of thumb is about 10%.
Yes.
If you've got a 5 kilo turkey, it's a half kilo of stuffing, no more. You can do a bit more, you know, outside of the turkey if you want to in a separate
You can
tray.
A lot of chefs will cook it separately. Get a loaf tin, line a loaf tin and put your stuffing in there and cook it separately.
If you don't have a fan oven, the advice is to cook it outside, because you won't get the same kind of evenness in the cooking.
And it's a rule of thumb of about, what, 25 minutes per kilo is the rule of thumb for your bird, isn't it?
Yeah, if you go onto the Safe Food website, safefood.eu, there's a turkey calculator.
Great.
So if you just put in the weight...
Turkey calculator. There's a big gobble gobble sound effect you put in the number.
Of course you have a turkey calculator. You just put in your weight and if you've stuffed or not, and it'll give you the exact time.
OK, cool. What about the other array of goodies? Like, as you said, there's a lot of other dishes that go on.
And there is a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. And this is the pressure point. So we did a survey and we asked people, you know, have you ever had a turkey disaster? About a quarter of people said that they had. Some had undercooked, some had overcooked. Some people had actually forgotten to turn on the oven.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
to preheat the oven.
It'll never cook.
Turn it on at all. So they'd not turned it on, gone out to do...
God, I don't smell it cooking. God, it's lovely, isn't it?
So,
not on.
You know, I think that speaks to how stressed people get, because there's so much going on.
You actually can't think straight.
Especially
if there's visitors over or,
you know, you're trying to cater for...
Exactly.
You know, you're putting batteries in things and putting things together.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, so just to, you know, if you've done all the work to get as far as getting the turkey in the oven...
Get the basics right.
But as you say, it is kind of, and the chefs will say as well, it's about the prep.
Yeah.
It's trying to lighten your workload on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
And
think the couple of days before Christmas.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, this can be a shared task. I would say to anybody
Exactly,
starting out in particular to beg, borrow and steal extra cutlery and equipment.
Yeah.
I have a little hot plate that goes around all the family. It's great to have an extra bit of hot space where you can keep things warm. Try to share it out. It takes the pressure off everybody.
And also, as Brenda was saying earlier on in our etiquette class, it's nice to bring a dish or bring a course and make it easier for the person who's doing all the cooking.
Yeah,
I'd imagine then there's dangers then in terms of the day after Christmas because we're leftovers.
Reheating.
Yeah, reheating. Really good point. When you finish your Christmas dinner, I know the last thing anyone wants to do is a bit more work. But the best thing is within about 2 hours to try and strip down the turkey and get it into containers, get it into the fridge within 2 hours.
Yeah.
If you do that, you've got about 3 days to use up the fresh turkey meat.
Very good. And is it the same with ham?
Same with ham, exactly.
Okay.
Of course, you can put it into the freezer at any time. It'll keep for up to 6 months then.
Wow,
so that's another thing that you can kind of space it out.
But you need to get it into the freezer within a couple of hours.
Or into the fridge within a couple of hours and into the freezer then. If you're not going to use it within the 3 days, get it into the freezer.
It's interesting that you can freeze it. I wouldn't have thought you could freeze it and would hold for 6 months.
Yeah,
That's great.
It holds its quality for about 6 months. After that, the quality will go down. It's safe. Once you get it into the freezer, it's kind of a pause button on the bacteria.
Just think you could have more turkey dinner in March.
You could. Imagine
Turkey
that.
curry.
What's for dinner, ma'am? Turkey and stuffing.
Still.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
What about people who are buying frozen turkeys?
Okay, another really good point. So if you're buying a frozen turkey, it can take up to 3 days to defrost your turkey.
Wow.
So you allow about 24 hours for every 2 kilos.
And do you defrost in the fridge or out of the fridge?
In the fridge. So
in the fridge.
In the fridge. At the bottom of the fridge again, you do all your defrosting there because then you get an even defrost. And then when you take it out, you need to check, is it actually defrosted?
Right.
You can just press the skin. It should be soft. Wiggle the legs. They should
Yeah,
move easily.
yeah.
And then just look in the cavity. There should be no ice crystals inside. And once you have that, you know it's ready to go.
I mean, it's very easy to say it's very common sense, but when there's a million other things going on in the build-up, you can miss things like that.
You need reminders, I think, don't you?
Yeah, Post-it notes everywhere.
Yes.
Check the turkey.
Yeah. If anyone does have questions on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, we have on our Facebook Messenger, we have Chef Bot, a bot who'll answer all your turkey questions.
Really?
Yes.
Does he work on Christmas Day?
He works Christmas Day.
Chef
Fantastic.
Bot.
You could have him beside the
That's a great
workspace
idea.
in the kitchen, couldn't you?
Yeah, so obviously we've no staff in the office on Christmas Day, but you can ask your questions. Just put turkey time into our Facebook Messenger and
Can I ask you about the ham as well? Because we often hear chefy types like yourself saying don't overcook the ham. But we don't want to undercook it either.
No, I mean, I think it's most people tend to boil it and then put it into or then put it into the oven to roast it. So I mean, the chances of it being undercooked are very slim. But I suppose the bigger danger is to overcook it.
Overcook it, okay.
Chefy types.
Chefy types, yeah. Is that okay? Are you happy enough with that
Yes,
title?
yeah, thank you very much.
One of many.
That's sage advice.
Very good.
See what I did there?
Very
Sage
much,
advice.
Aileen. I've been working on that
Sage
one
and
all
onion
morning.
stuffing. Thank you, Aileen.
Thank you.
Right, after the break, the price is right for our next guests. X Factor's Sean and Connor Price will be stopping by to chat all things music. See you in a few minutes.